The first time he kissed me, I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it felt like something I wasn't supposed. Tofiel the second time, I let him touch my hand. The third time, I begged him not to stop. That night, everything shonged between us and we've never spoken about it since. Welcome to my true gay tales. Some stories aren't just forbidden. They stay with you forever, burning like they never wanted to be forgotten. I didn't even know he was coming to stay with us. I'd just come. Home from work, drenched in sweat, dead tired. And there he was, standing in our kitchen with a water bottle in his hand, like he belonged there. Hey, he said casually. Like we hadn't gone 6 years without speaking. It took me a second. That messy dark hair, the small scar above his eyebrow thelip, ring that hadn't been there before. Yeah, it was him. Daniel, my cousin, Lena's son. We used to spend every summer together when we were kids. But then he moved away and disappeared from the familiar. Now he looked different, older, taller, and way too attractive for Somion I was technically related to. Didn't know you were coming, I said, hesmarked. Didn't know you lived here. Lucky me, I answered, trying to sound casual, but that line landed. Wrong, my heart kicked a little harder. He was supposed to stay for 2 weeks while his mom sorted out her breakup in life. I didn't ask questions. Mom just said Benice to him. Then she left for her night shift. And just like that, it wasn't me. And Daniel again? So there we were. 2 cousins, 1 house, no prince. The first few nights were normal. Netflix, snacks, casual jokes, nothing serious, nothing dangerous. Hess slipped on the pull-out couch in the living room, shirtless, arms behind his head like he knew exactly what he was doing. I caught myself looking more than I should have, and one night I think I noticed, because he smiled, not mocking, just knowing by the 4th night something had changed. It was past 1 o'clock in the morning. I was lying on the couch, scrolling through my phone when he walked in wearing just a tank top and shorts. That fresh scent hit first, clean, sharp, familiar. The kind that messes with your head when it's on Simeon. You shouldn't think about like that. He sat down beside me, way too close. I froze. My heart was loud in Otto. Drown out the TV. You ever think about doing something you're not supposed to? He asked. He didn't even look at me. His eyes stayed on the screen, but the air between us was heavy. Depends what you mean, I said, trying to sound calm. Then he turned, eyes locking on mine. I mean, like wanting someone you shouldn't. Silence. The kind that holds its breath. And before I could even think, he leaned in. It wasn't a question. It wasn't a mistake. It was like he'd been waiting for this moment since the day he showed up. I didn't pull away. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. His hand brushed mean. And in that second, every limb between right and wrong blurred into something I couldn't ignore. He pulled back just enough to whisper. Still think where, not supposed to. I don't remember what I said, or if I even could. But I remember the way the world went quiet, like everything outside that room stopped existing. What happened next wasn't planned. It wasn't careful. It was two people crossing a line they'd been standing on for far too long. When sun came up, it felt unreal. Laketh night had been a dream I wasn't sure I was supposed to remember. The weirdest part wasn't the silence. It was how normal he acted. The next morning, he was in the kitchen frying eggs, humming to himself like nothing had changed, like we hadn't shared some things didn't even have words for. I stood there for a moment, just watching him move around like he belonged. He turned, smiled. Morning, sleepyhead. I nodded, trying to act fine. But everything inside me had shifted. Something had opened that I couldn't close again. He slid a plate across the counter. You okay? He asked. He shrugged. Are you? He paused, then said quietly. I've never been better. We didn't talk about it. Not what it meant, not what would happen next. But something was different now. His eyes lingered longer. He brushed past me like a very small touch had meaning. It wasn't playful anymore. It was something heavier, something dangerous. That night, I told myself I'd sleep in me room. I really tried. I told myself it was a one-time thing, that what happened between us was just a moment. Heat, confusion, maybe even lonely spreading to be something else. But around midnight, I heard it. One knock, then another. And before I could say a word, the door opened. He stepped inside quietly. Eyes dark earthen, I remembered. The room holding its breath with me. Neither of us spoke. Didn't need to. He crossed the space between us and sat on the edge of Mibd. It wasn't like the first time. It was slower, careful, like we both knew exactly what we were risking. He traced slow patterns on my arm. Second of touch that says everything word scant. He whispered something I'll never repeat. Not because it was wrong, but because it was too honest. And in that moment, it felt like the world had stopped listening. We didn't go too far that night, but what did happen was to keep me awake until sunrise. When he finally left, I could still feel the echo of him everywhere. In the air, in the quiet, in the heartbeat that refused to slow down. The days that followed were harder. Not because of what we'd done, but because of what we didn't say. He went back to being his usual self, joking, teasing, pretending nothing had changed. But I saw it in the way. He looked away too quickly, and Howie's laugh didn't reach his eyes anymore. It was like we'd opened a door we weren't brave enough to walk through. And the silence between us became its own kind of punishment. 2 nights before he was supposed all of it happened again. We were on the couch watching some movie I can't even remember. And then quietly, he leaned closer and said, "Can I kiss you again?" Before I could answer, he did. It wasn't careful this time. It was desperate. Like everything we tried to bury came rushing back at once. When he pulled away, he didn't say sorry. He just looked at me like he'd been waiting for thought moments since the last one ended. And maybe I had too. That night, everything we'd been avoiding finally broke through. We crossed a line we both knew we shouldn't. And neither of you stopped. When it was over, we just sat there, silent, shaking. knowing the world outside that room would never understand. He pressed his forehead against mine. "I don't know what this means," he whispered. "Me neither," I said. "I just know I don't want it to end." After that, it became our secret routine. We acted normal by day, joking, sharing meals, pretending nothing had changed. But when the lights went out, so did our defenses. Sometimes we just sat together in theater cans, brushing hearts running faster than our words. It wasn't just attraction anymore. It was something heavier, something neither of us could name. Then came the call. My mom said Daniel's mom was coming to pick him up early. Just like that, it was ending. That evening, I found him outside, lost in his thoughts. "I knew it wouldn't last," he said, "but I didn't think it would hurt like this." That night, hadn't come to my room. I waited, hoping until I finally found him sitting alone in the living room. His eyes were red, his voice low. "I shouldn't have done this to us," he said. I sat across from him. "You didn't do it alone?" He looked up. "If we weren't related, would you still want me?" The answer came before I could stop it. "I already do," I wanted. To hold on to him a little longer, even if I didn't know what we were. Labels didn't matter anymore. Only the feeling did. The way being near him made the noise in my head go quiet. That night, everything slowed down. There was Norash, no pretending. Just two people trying to freeze time before it ran out. He held me. Close, whispered that he'd never felt that safe before. I didn't say anything. Some moments are too fragile for words. The next morning, Epic his things without much to say. No long goodbye, just a crooked smilin', "Thanks for letting me stay." And then Hura was gone. For 2 days, I barely ate or slept. I kept replaying everything in my head. The looks, the silences, the things one never said. I told myself it was over. But then late one night, my phone lit up. "Daniel, I can't stop thinking of Booty." I stared at the screen for a long time. He didn't send anything else, just that it wasn't a statement. It was a question. After a few minutes, I typed back, "Me, too." No reply. Not that night. Not the next day. Life kept moving, but I didn't. I went to work, smiled at people, went home and tried to pretend, but nothing felt right. No one looked at him the way he did. And then for days later I saw someone leaning against me car in the parking lot. Hoodie up, head down. For a second, I thought I was imagining things. Then he looked up and it was him. "You didn't block me," he said, standing under the parking lot lights. So, I figured that meant I could come back. My heart stopped. "Daniel?" He looked up. Same crooked smile, same reckless eyes. "Hey," he said softly. "Still got room in the couch?" I didn't answer. I just stepped forward and hugged him like Thelis Fewies had been a bad dream. Back at the house, the silence was thick. He dropped his bag, took off his shoes, and looked at me as if he was trying to memorize every detail again. "I told my mom I needed a break," he said quietly. "Told her I wanted to stay with a friend for a while." He paused. "I didn't tell her that friend was you and Oded. Are you sure this is what ya went?" He stepped closer. No, admitted. But it's the only thing that's ever felt this real. That was the moment everything changed. Not because of anything we did, but because of the truth between us. It was raw, honest, and terrifying in the best way. After that night, we just slow down. No more pretending, no more guilt. We spent our days cooking, watching movies, sharing playlists, laughing like if world outside didn't exist. He even made a playlist called Guilty as Hell. It was full of slow songs that sounded like memories we hadn't made yet. Then on morning, he said something that made me chest tighten. I told my mom I might move here. I turned to him startled. Seriously? He nodded. She thinks it's for work. She doesn't know it's for you. That hit harder than anything. Not because it was romantic, but because it was brave. And if she finds out? I asked. He smiled faintly. Then we deal with it. That was the first time I let myself believe we could actually make it. Not perfectly, not forever, but honestly, my head rested on his chest. It felt safe, simple, real. Then the front door opened. At first, I thought I imagined it, until I heard my mom's voice. I left me charger. She froze. Daniel and I sat up instantly, like we'd been caught doing something we shouldn't. Her eyes flickered between us. The blanket, the closeness, the silence that filled the room. What's going on? She asked, voice either of us spoke. The quiet was louder than anything we could have said. I tried to speak. Mom, please don't lie, she said sharply. Just tell me the truth. I saw it in her. Not anger, not disgust, but hurt. The kind that makes you wish you could turn back time. This wasn't supposed happen, I whispered. We didn't plan it. She looked at both of us, ice glassy jaw tight. You two were supposed take care of each other, not break each other. And then she just turned, picked up her charger, and left. The silence after that was unbearable. Daniel finally spoke. She's going to tell my mom. I nodded, tears burning my eyes. Yeah, probably. This is over, isn't it? He asked quietly. That question shattered me. Do you want it to be? I didn't answer. He just stood up, grabbed his hoodie, and walked into the guest room. The next morning, he was gone. No goodbye. Just silence. 3 days passed. I texted him once, "Are you okay?" No reply. Then a message came, not from his aunt. I don't know what happened between you two, but please don't contact him again. My hands went cold. That was it. The end. I sat there in the dark thinking back to how it started. The laughter, the closeness, the way he made me feel seen. We crossed lines we shouldn't have. Booty couldn't regret it because for the first time in a long time, I felt real. A month passed. 30 days of silence. No texts, no late night calls, no I miss you. I checked his Instagram more times than I'll admit. He'd posted one blur photo of a city skyline captioned, "Starting over." I didn't know where he went, only that it wasn't here. And maybe that's what hurts the most. Not losing him, but pretending it never mattered. I didn't dream about him coming back. I just didn't think he actually would. His playlist was still on my phone. His CD still hung on the back of my car. And I still remembered the way he said, "You're the first person I ever felt safe wanting." Then one quiet Wednesday night, my phone lit up. "Can I see you one more time? Just to say goodbye properly." I didn't reply for an hour. Then I typed, "If you come, don't make me let you go again." He answered 2 minutes. I can't promise that he came. That same hoodie, same tired eyes. We didn't hug. We didn't sit down. We just stood in the doorway, inches apart, pretending we were okay. "I'm leaving the state," he said. "I got a job. It's real this time, I swear. Is this what you want?" He looked. "No, but it's what I have to do." I didn't remember who moved first. But then we're kissing soft, slow, like an apology neither of us knew how to say. Not lust, not fire, just heartbreak. When we pulled apart, his eyes were wet. "You're going to forget me," he whispered. I shook my head. "You burned yourself into me. I'll never forget." We didn't talk after that. We just sat on the couch in silence. Two people caught between what felt right and what the world wouldn't allow. At sunrise, he stood up. No drama. Just one last look. "We'll never talk about this again," he said, and nodded. "But we'll both remember." And wedded. Even now, years later, I still think of him when a song from that playlist plays. When I pass the couch when a stranger smells like his. He never called, never texted, but I like to think he remembers too. Thought one summer, that one night, the tone love we were never supposed to have, but couldn't let go.